Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Clint from Refinery23 here. I want to take you through a social media strategy and show you how it might work for you. Um, Given that it's a little bit complex, it's not difficult to understand, but sometimes we might get it wrong and we might think that it's um, not maybe the way that we need to use it properly. So I thought I'd take you through a video here. And the best way to do it is to figure out what it's for. So, what is social media really for? I think that's the really important thing. And a lot of times it seems to be for all the beautiful things. Okay. So it's for influencers, it's for people that make the world look like an amazing place to live. But does that work for business? Unless you're using that kind of strategy, it's quite difficult to get social media to work properly. Um, so how do we go about doing it? And how do we go about doing it in a way that makes sense for your brand? So what is it for? Remember that social media is for people. And when we're talking to people, we need to think about all the things that make us happy and sad and cry and get to our emotions, because that's more important than worrying about an algorithm. And the thing that you need to do is always remember the thing you're doing is for your audience and your people. And you've got to make it tick for them. You've got to make it resonate. You've got to make it something that people really love and understand, and that they get why you do the thing that you do. And here's Marshall McLuhan, my favorite Canadian. He talks about where technology fits in. And he says, a new technology tends to take as its content the old technology, so that the new technology tends to flood any given present with archaism. What he's meaning is we take from the past and we apply it to now. So before social media, there was mainstream media, there was advertising, there was newspaper, radio, and TV. And we've taken social media and done it in the same way. We're advertising to people rather than looking at what social media is all about. And the secret isn't it's social and it's for people. Looking at people, maybe we need to look at the way that it's not about advertising, because the last thing that any of us want is to be advertised to. So where does it fit into the marketing mix? Well, if you look at a buyer journey and you look at social content and events and white papers, that kind of comes in the awareness phase. And this could be a buyer journey for any brand. And you've got to make people aware that you exist. And then you've got to understand that they do some research and they find out some more. Then they might visit your website or do something. And then at some point they buy it and maybe they're going to be happy about it. So in the initial phase, you've got social content that explains the category or the brand that you're talking about, right? So it's either you or it's the category. If it's a new category, people don't know it exists. Once people are aware of that, they're going to do some research. They're going to look at more of your social content. They're going to find out things like why you are best for them. Why would one accountant be different to another accountant? It's the way that you do things, right? Because everybody does the fundamental things the same. It's your attitude, it's your values, it's the things that make you that are important. And you can show them how you do it, and you can show them examples of success, and that really helps people get whether they want to work with you or not. Once you've done that, maybe they're going to visit your website, gold, and then you can remarket, because you know the people that have visited your website understand a little bit more about you than people that perhaps haven't. So you can tell a deeper story there. You can show case studies. You can show longer format content where people understand the way in which you approach it. Because if there's two accountants, one's happy and one's not, or one's serious and one's a little bit more laid back, you're going to go with the one that makes the most sense to you. Okay, and it's the same for anything. Do you want a brand that is reliable, or do you want a brand that's fast? It's up to you to understand where you are and what's going to resonate with your audience, because the people that need to talk to you are people that you kind of get along with. Okay, once you've done the remarketing, maybe they buy something, you have a convert. When someone buys something, the best thing to do is to show them something else that they might want to purchase as well, something that complements it. So you can show them videos or social content that tells them about the other thing. And hopefully, if they really love what you do, what they're going to do then is they're going to talk about it and talk about the stuff that you've done, like, comment, or share, right? If you look at the marketing funnel, you've got an awareness category where the customer's not aware, as I said, of the brand. You've got the consideration phase where they are looking. You've got the purchase, which is awesome. Retention by giving other value to people. And then advocacy is about the customer loves what you do and they pass it on. What we want to do, interestingly, is not have this wide funnel. You want to narrow the funnel so the more people that come in are more likely to convert. It's pointless having a wide funnel of people that don't know what you want or don't resonate with you. And as they kind of go through the funnel, they drop off. Rather narrow it. So up front there, already know what you're about, how you do it, and there's an affiliation with you, an affinity. So when they click the button to go to the website, which costs you money, they're already kind of halfway down the journey to maybe do what you want them to do, right? So where does social fit in marketing? You've got awareness. It absolutely talks to the things that you do. And as I said, that's the beginning of the funnel. You can reinforce your brand identity or your message. So really tell the story about why you exist, your purpose, and the way that you do things. You can use it for advertising, no problem with that. Great for sales and on sales. Customer service, I don't think that we use social media enough for customer service. If I go to a platform and I've got a problem, surely you should be able to answer that on that platform and not send me somewhere else. Social commentary, why do you exist? What's your stand in the world? Everyone's got a social aspect to what they do. What does that look like? What does thought leadership mean? Thought leadership is taking something that you're really good at and explaining how that might work now or in the future and showing people how they can do it better. If you're at a position where you can give away the knowledge that you have, it says you really understand it and you really are confident in the fact that no one else can do it quite like you. And another reason to use social media for your business and for people within your business is personal branding. There's nothing wrong with telling the story about you and how you do the things you do. If you have employees, nothing wrong with them using the platform to promote your brand and theirs at the same time. Because guess what? Everyone moves on. Everyone's got something that they're talking about. When they're with you, they may as well do it for you. It shows credibility, right? Some of the platforms that we might use, and this is just kind of an overview. So Facebook is for older people, I think. In New Zealand, most people still use it, which is great. We've got messages in there about how to and sales and case studies, and the format's video, but it's also owned by Meta. Is there a reputation problem with Meta? How does it align with your brand? And I think you need to look at all the channels to see which ones align with you. More and more, we are aligning ourselves with content on platforms that we want to be on or that we associate with. So maybe decide where your audience is. It might not be a particular channel for a particular reason. Instagram, also owned by Meta, more about everybody. Okay, it's short ideas, it's trends, it's lifestyle. And again, it's a platform that shows much more a lifestyle approach to things. So maybe if your brand is conducive to that kind of content, it's a good place to be. Okay, LinkedIn, it's business people, it's product owners, it's your clients. They probably hang out on LinkedIn. You're going to talk about your brand. You're going to talk about tips and tricks, case studies, accomplishments. Don't be afraid to tell people what you've done, right? You've got long format videos. You've got those annoying emails that pop up from people you don't know. It's owned by Microsoft. Does that change anything about it? Again, that's up to you. The reason I said that, of course, is something like X. It seems to be the platform now of angry people. It used to be a platform of news. The message seems to be, I hate this and you hate that, and we can have a fight about it. Is it the platform of freedom or the platform of hate? And again, some brands are moving away from X, lots of brands, because it doesn't fit with their social affiliation. Does that work for you? Does it not? Okay, if you don't want to be on X, maybe you want to be on Blue Sky. Okay, it's more centrists and more social-minded people that are on Blue Sky. There's no advertising, but it's a good place to put your message out and tell a story. And if that's where you think your brand sits, be with like-minded people that understand your values. YouTube, everybody uses YouTube. It is owned by Google. And you're putting out case studies there. You're putting up problem solvers. You're doing live feeds. It's video format. It's owned by the Google guys. As I said, any issues with that, that's up to you. It is the biggest platform. It's the second biggest search engine, and it's video-based. So you do with that as you wish. And then TikTok. Under 40, definitely. There are older people like me that are on there, but under 40 is a good gauge. You got self-love, you got tips, you got tricks, you got how-to, you got anything that's going to help brand or you really lives on TikTok. And it's great to see short video that solves problems really quickly. It's owned in part by a whole bunch of people around data. It's up to you to do with that as you wish. All the platforms have your data. I don't think from our level of worry that they're really going to do much with it. We're not the State Department. What about Pinterest? Pinterest is in here for one reason, and that's because it's a different kind of social media platform. It's been around for a long time, and it's kind of in the place where if you're getting married or you're renovating or you love cars or interior design, it's a place where you can put mood boards together and find really cool things and ideas. What's different is it's not immediate. it's a very long tail game. So if you're going to put something onto Pinterest, don't expect sales immediately, but it does curate a beautiful world that you might want to do if you're an interior designer. It partners with Amazon now, so you can buy directly off the platform. Again, anyone got an issue with Amazon? I don't know. And lastly is WhatsApp. People don't think about this as a social media channel, but it is, because you've got groups on there. You can broadcast messages. You can use it for service. It's a fantastic platform for real quick answers to problems and to messages to groups of people that are like-minded. I'm sure if you belong to a sports club, there's a WhatsApp group around your team, your sport, or whatever it might be. So which one do you choose? That's a tough question. A lot of times you'll be told you've got to be in all of them, and that's not necessarily true, right? You've got to be on the platform that makes the most sense. Okay, Clint, what's the most sense? Well, I had a client once, Bavaria Breweries, fantastic brand, and we were sitting in a meeting, and someone asked the marketing director, what channel does he like? And they said, I don't really care what channel I like. I care about the channel where my customers are. So figure out where the customers are, and that's where you need to be. Not what you like, not what I like, not what makes us comfortable, but where the customers are hanging out. How does it work? Well, remember that social media was and probably still is treated as an advertising medium. We're going to sell stuff to people, and I don't really want that anymore, right? I really don't. I'd rather people use it to entertain me, inform me, and show me things that I didn't know beforehand. If you can interrupt my feed, I'd rather it be interrupted with something that leaves me with more information or more something that leaves me with less and just annoys me. Okay. Minority Report, interesting movie from 2002. And the idea in here was that they knew about your data and they used it to broadcast messages directly at you.
A road diverges in the desert. A road diverges in the desert. Lexus. The road you're on, John Anderton, is the one less traveled. Make sure you
Good evening. You can move the old-fashioned John Anderton. Provides gourmet cuisine. John Anderton. You could use a Guinness right about now.
So that's a bit epic and that's a bit much. So the idea was right, that they're going to use your data to broadcast things to you that make sense and that you resonate with, but maybe not in that advertising kind of way. And that's the difference. If you're going to tap me on the shoulder and annoy me, right, it's got to be for a reason that makes sense to me. Otherwise, you kind of lost me before you've begun, okay? So what's changed, really? I think advertising's annoying. We know where to find things if they exist. That's why the awareness portion of social media is important, because I'm not actively looking for things there. I'm just finding things that are possibly aligned to what I like. So I can type in summer and I can find a whole bunch of things here, from Olympic Games results to a summer dress if I want one. I can even retire into a retirement village just by typing that word. I know where to find stuff, and so do you. So think about it as an awareness platform and then a how-to and a problem-solving place where you can give value to people rather than saying something is $2 right now. And because it's in our space, it's got to be relevant. So this is Media Design School, great school, love what they do. This came up in my feed. So I'm a creative, background in design, fantastic, it seems right, but the message says carve out a space for your career in digital design, and I can go and get a digital design degree or a UX degree. Fantastic, but I've already got one of those. So it's the right kind of idea in the right space, but the actual content itself isn't quite aligned with me. So if this was talking about graduate programs, looking at portfolios, that kind of stuff, that would be really interesting. I'd love it, but maybe not telling me about a degree I already have, because advertising interrupts my experience, as I said, right? So make sure that the content matches what I think it should be, right? So what is it for? How does it really work? Okay. Remember, social media in the beginning was about connecting people, right? And it's still about connecting people. That's all it's talking about, right? So how do we connect? You've got a whole bunch of people that have got some ideas. And really, in the business space, you want to be here. You want to be the red dude with lots of people connected to you and their friends connected to them. And your story gets bigger and bigger and bigger and has a wider reach than perhaps just doing it yourself and talking to people on a referral basis at meetings. That's hard work. And anyone who does them knows that the success rate is great, But man, it's difficult. So if you can get this kind of scenario happening, all the better. Because what's happening is you're going to take it from the online digital space to offline to real things, where the advertising or the social media or the content leads through to people liking you, leads through to them doing a business deal with you, leads through to real things like money in your bank. It's pretty cool if you do it properly. And I like people. I don't like sitting at a screen all the time. I like interacting. All right, so how do we do it? And oftentimes, lots and lots of social content and no clicks, no referrals, nothing coming through that funnel. It doesn't work, right? So we need to develop, as I said, content that resonates. And the cool thing about the content that resonates, it only has to resonate for people that understand your brand. So this is TUI. Okay, let's go to Hamilton for New Year. Yeah, right. That's a bit mean to Hamilton. I grew up in Cambridge, so it's kind of close to my heart. But their idea here is you're going to take offense to this or you're not. And if you find it funny, you're probably going to be a TUI drinker. And if you are a TUI drinker, this isn't going to bother you. If it does bother you, you're not the right brand anyway. You're not the right person anyway, right? And this is about a guy who got into a lot of trouble. He's a doctor. And again, you might find this funny or not. Are you a TUI drinker or not? They got some balls doing this, no doubt. And this came up recently. This is about a former politician who got into trouble. And this has created quite a bit of stir because is it a good campaign? Is it in bad taste, right? DB Burries, the owner of TUI, said, lighten up, guys. It's just an ad and it's just kind of meant to be funny. And some marketing professor said it's way below the belt and it's likely to offend many people. And it probably has and will. I'm not saying offend people, but find your audience, because you only need to talk to the people that will laugh at your TUI ad, right? That's all you need to look for. Because the content that connects is the correct content. As long as it is aligned to your values, what you stand for, your social conscience, that's what you need to do. Because the truth is, the thumb-stopping content that you produce only has to be thumb-stopping for your audience. Only TUI people need to worry about if they're going to look at that. The thing with that kind of content is people that don't like TUI or don't like what they stand for are going to talk about it anyway and have a thumb war. Fantastic, because that amplifies the message and the reach to probably people that do find it funny and might consider TUI. So you've really got to define the audience. I am a brand that stands for this, this, and this, and I do this, this, and this, right? So I need people that understand that. I'm a bit irreverent. I take my job very seriously. I help you solve this problem and this problem and this problem. Do you need these things solved in a lighthearted, fun way? I'm the guy for you. If you don't, if you want to be serious, probably not, right? Is the work serious? 100%. But is the way we get there serious? No, because that's not the way that I operate, okay? You can look at things like where people live, because it's important. If you've got a B2C business or a B2B business, and a lot of businesses are quite connected to the areas in which they are, you need to look at locations. You need to look at the age of people you're speaking to, because messages are different for different ages, even if they're aligned with the same product. So going back to that media design one, the message for an 18-year-old is perfect. The message for me, not. So change that to suit me, or don't include me at all, right? Gender, depending on whatever that is. I remember Bic did a pen for ladies, whatever the heck that is. That was interesting. And then you can talk about your languages, and then interests. And interests aren't, well, I'm running a business, therefore it needs to be business. Maybe in terms of the things that your brand stands for or is involved with at a community level, maybe you're sponsoring tennis or squash or football. That's an interest that might spark people to use you. So think about it outside the realms of just business. There might be other things that make sense as well, okay? Really important to understand the difference between reach and impressions. So I'm a human being, there's one of me. You can only ever reach me once with a piece of content, right? If I see it more than once, that's giving me impressions. So I'm one, I've seen it, I've seen your piece of content, and I've seen it 6 times. So the reach is 1, but the impression is 6. So reach and frequency are really important. If I see something once, I'm probably not going to remember it. If I see it 200 times in a day, I'm probably going to get angry. So 3 to 5 to 6 times makes a lot of sense in terms of the content that you're putting out. Add a call to action. Make sure that the audience knows what to do next. Find out more, learn, buy, shop, whatever, right? Tell them to like, comment, and share if they really enjoy it, okay? Because you can do things like sales and see there's a shop now button there, right? You're getting them to a sale, or you're getting them to a catalog, or you're getting them to messages where you can type on the platform they've chosen and tell them about the things that they're interested in, okay? We can develop leads through a leads form, or again through messages. We can phone you directly, or you can sign up for something a bit more long tail like a newsletter, where the point of a newsletter is not the newsletter. The point is to get in front of your audience on a regular basis so they remember that you exist. We can look at engagement. Why would engagement be important? Well, we want messages again. We want people to look at video views, and we want post engagement, because the more people care enough to comment and share and talk about things, the more reach you get off a piece of content. Okay. And we can also get traffic. Now, traffic is click to web, or click to your app install, click to a phone call if you want to. The people that click through at some point would be interested in the services you offer. So before you're doing the traffic part of it, remember in the beginning, you might want to get the awareness right, so people become aware of what you do and what you stand for and how you do it. So when they click, they're likely to convert. Don't do a whole bunch of traffic ads without people understanding kind of what you stand for, because that conversion rate's going to drop and you're going to spend money that perhaps you didn't need to. You can also do it for app promotions and things like that. Which is cool. So what's the secret to success? And this is where I see it going wrong a lot. Often we get told, make a piece of content, make a piece of content, make a piece of content. You're doing 5 channels, and now we've established you might need 1 or 2, and we need to do it every day because you've got to reach people all the time, okay? But if you think about the effort and the cost of production for a piece of content, that's going to remain, and it's going to remain, and it's going to remain. Every time you do a piece of content, the effort and the cost of production, whether that's your time or money, stays the same. It starts to add up a lot if you're doing 5 pieces a day. And it doesn't last very long. So you've got an hour on maybe X, you've got a couple of days on Facebook. Yeah, you've got a longer tail with Pinterest. However, as I said, you're not going to get those returns as quick. So really what you want to do is promote it. And if you promote it, a couple of things happen, right? The paid content lasts longer, but your effort doesn't increase, and neither does the cost of the production. That stays the same. But instead of lasting a day or a week, you're lasting a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months if you want it to be. The value of the content increases because I'm likely to see that more than once. I'm going to see it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The cost of promotion and the cost of production is small compared to the value you get. Remember that effort doesn't increase. So if you do it this way, you could post once a month. You could post twice a month. You don't have to post every day to see people engaging with it, sharing with it, and reacting to it. And remember, when you post something with a paid strategy behind it, I'm not necessarily going to see it in week 1. And audience member number 2 is going to see it in week 4. So it's not like it's there all the time. It doesn't work like television, where it's a broadcast channel to lots of people. It goes into people's feeds at different times. So very different way of looking at it. It brings down your running around, and increases the value of the content that you're doing. Because what you want to get to is something where you've got a piece of content called Always On, which is about the brand and the values and what you stand for and how you do it, with case studies in there and examples of success. And then you can overlay that with a campaign that talks about the time of year, hurry and get it done before Christmas, tax year's coming, get your vehicle service for your holiday. Here's an added value we can add to the promotion, and that's where you put it on top, right? Now, it's important as well to understand your metrics, because metrics make sense to you why you've done something, okay? So what are you trying to achieve? I want awareness because no one knows that I exist. I want traffic because people know I exist. What KPI is best? Awareness would be reach and frequency. For traffic, it might be clicks to web. It might be how many people have converted from that click to web to sign up for a form or buy something. And then what does that success look like? Getting people to the website isn't successful necessarily if they don't purchase anything or sign up. So think about what that metric might be. So remember, at social content level with the buyer journey in the beginning, you might want to look at reach, then you might want to look at clicks, then you might want to look at engaging for longer with a remarketing piece of video. Then you might want to have people converting and buying something else. And at the end of it, you want them to like, comment, and share and tell everybody how great you are. So awareness is reach and eyeballs and frequency. Reach versus impressions is super important. Consideration phase, where they're engaging, they're clicking, they're visiting webs, they're viewing it, they're seeing comments left behind as well by other people. What does conversion look like? Clicks to web, filling out a form, calls, messenger, that kind of thing. And retention is showing new products, remarketing, and advocacy is, I love you so much, I'm going to tell everybody else how great you are in the comments. So under awareness, we're looking at who you are, what you stand for, how you do it. Consideration is problems that you solve. Love it. Conversion is, here's a call to action, do something now. Retention is, what about this? You like this, or what about that? And advocacy is just telling everybody, please like, comment, or share. Tell everyone we're awesome. So tell your origin story. Tell the reason you exist. Okay. This isn't your mission, vision, and values. This is the story about what you stand for and how you do things, right? It really is your differentiator. It's the thing that makes me different to the next person. And some people will like it and some people don't. And that's okay. There's enough place in the world for all of us to exist. Share knowledge, because as I said, the more you share, the more confident you are in the stuff that you do, that no one else can do it quite like you. And then demonstrate how you solve those problems, because the problem you solve for person Y is not going to be the same as the person X, but the way you do it or the application might be something that resonates. And I think that isn't quite right for me, but I can see how that's going to lead where I need it to in the future. So what's your social strategy? I hope you can use this to inform and guide and do one. And if you need some help with it, I'm always available. Clint at Refinery23. But here's something I just want to leave you with, okay? The power of the brand transcends everything. Brands are more important, right? It beats logic with emotion and it resonates. Think about that for a second. And when it resonates, it helps you remember a moment of truth, because that's what resonates. That's what it is. Resonance is. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. And it makes me feel something. And when you feel a brand, don't you feel that the brand gets you? Like, they totally nailed it. I know exactly what that feels like. And that's pretty cool. And that will keep people coming back, right? So I do offer a marketing subscription. It's from $250 a month, which will take you through how to do things. There's mentorship and guidance in there. And there's setup if you need, or anything to do with marketing. It starts at $250. Let's have a chat about this. You can get hold of me, Clint at refinery23.nz. Pop a message in the comments, and I hope this works for you, and have an amazing, amazing day.